me is John from comic. Say the name
It's a
of your
comic
show one
book
more
look.
for me.
A comic book look. Yeah.
A comic book look. So both John and I want to talk about X-Men more than we get to on our respective shows. So we decided to just start talking about X-Men every week and see how it goes. So the tentative name that we have come up with for this experiment is the Days of Our Future Past Lives.
Yes.
I'm gonna say that much more dramatic. Ready?
Yeah.
Days of Our Future Past Lives.
That was pretty dramatic. You
Um,
gotta, you
so
gotta, you gotta.
Um, it's kind of momentous that we start this show this week, John. First of all, it's because X-Men is rebooting itself in a sense, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
They're switching head of X-Men, which has been oh goodness, I lost his name. I'm gonna open it right now. Who's the head of X? Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah.
And then now they're switching to let Jerry Dugan write the story. And I gotta say, I wasn't too impressed. But
Oh,
we'll get to that. But we'll
oh,
get to that. We'll get to
oh,
that.
oh.
That's a little. That's called a hook.
That is a hook. All right.
Okay.
Oh, we are definitely getting
So
into that.
anyway, so here we are to talk about X-Men. I'm very excited. TR, my co-host on Smash and Grab Comics, is not an X-Men like
Yeah.
fanatic like I
Yeah.
am. He likes it just fine, but he's a fanatic and he's not reading it weekly. So I'm usually talking to myself on Smash and Grab. But this is gonna be fun, John, because you were into this as much as I am.
Yes. Yep. No, I read every single thing that comes
All
out,
right,
man.
so
And let me tell you what, Tyler, Rainbow sells
sure,
at one point they sold the beautiful House of X and Powers of X short box. And
yeah,
I bought one, and that thing is jam packed full of everything since House of X and
yeah,
Powers of X came out. It is
yeah.
full. It is full. So it is definitely just a
It's
lot going on,
it's
and
broken my bank. I have to admit, it has broken my wallet. My other series, I've dropped off so many good series for X-Men. I have sacrificed great comics for X-Men so
yeah,
that I could afford it and put it in my budget.
yeah, yeah.
So John, we are new friends. Isn't this fun?
We are
We just
brand new
really just
friends, you
started talking
guys.
to each other recently, and here we are. And now we're going to do a show, and I think that's awesome. That's how I operate usually.
It
Um,
was just so you guys know, this is how it happened. I went to the register to pay for my
yeah,
books, and Tyler and I
yeah,
got to talking, and then Facebook makes everything possible, and here we are.
yep.
And here we are.
That hey, 3 years ago, John, or 4 years ago now, JP Jones and I started our podcast, and it happened the same way. I walked into Rainbow, heard him gabbing about comics to somebody, and just said, "Do you want to start a podcast about comic
Yeah,
books?" And then that was it. And then TR came on a little later.
that's awesome. No, you guys are
Um,
great, by the way. I mean, if you guys, for those watching through comic book look channels, if you
yeah.
haven't listened to Smash and Grab, you will. I cry laughing at the X-Men
What?
90s cartoon reviews. So
Oh, when we
funny.
do the when we do those, yeah, we love the X-Men animated series, and we love going through it together. We have such a good time. But man, we criticize everything in it. But the fun thing is, on our Twitter, some of the showrunners have taken notice that we are watching it.
Yeah,
So that's fun.
that's
Who knows
awesome.
if anything can come of that, but we'll see. So John, I want to talk about the 4 issues that came out this week, the three leading up to the new X-Men #1,
Let's
which
get it.
which kicks off the new X-Men team. Um, so should we run through the new team? It's got Cyclops. It's got Jean Grey as Marvel Girl now.
Hmm.
It has Rogue. It has someone I cannot remember, and then Polaris.
Oof. The someone you can't remember is so crucial. I love so I can't pronounce it right, right?
Sunspot. No,
Sun
no, not Sunspot, but
Cinch
anyway,
or
Sun
Sync.
something. Sync. I think it's Sync.
Yeah. I love that character because I
Okay, what is their
rocked I rocked the whole 90s run of Generation X. And so
Okay.
that's where he comes from, and I love that team.
I know nothing about that era. What's his ability?
Yeah, so it's basically that rainbow aura that you see going on, and he's able to take
Yeah.
another mutant's ability, not take, but have. And so
Yeah.
there can be two Jean Grey, there can be two Cyclops. Not that we want two Cyclops, but
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. So let's kick things off and let's talk about Children of the Atom. I'm going to hold up my cover for our viewers on the net. This is Children of the Atom, number 5. I think this is going to be a 6 issue, and then it's going to be done, is what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you haven't been reading this, you are sorely missing out, because this is a fun little story of X-Men that are not really X-Men. They are kids that want to be so badly be on the X-Men that they are using stolen tech, we find out, to appear as though they have powers. And since the beginning of the story, we find out one of them really is a mutant. This story kicks off with them being hassled by the U-Men. Now, do you know much about the U-Men?
Past this, no.
Okay, so the U-Men are really interested in basically like dissecting mutants and finding out what makes them mutants.
Okay.
That's basically all you need to know. So they kidnap these kids trying to get to the Krakoan gates, okay? And they didn't realize they're not actually mutants. The only one that escaped is this little Benny kid. And this whole issue number 5, has been like following him. He's kind of having an identity crisis. Did you get a chance to read this one?
Yes. Yep. I have read all the issues, and this one had some really cool moments, through the pages. So I'm looking forward to talking through it. Definitely, out of the whole series so far, probably up there, like number 2 out of 5, maybe, for my fave.
Really?
Favorite.
Yeah.
But it was nice. No.
At first, I didn't really like it, first issue or two, but being a completist, I had to keep reading it,
Yeah.
So this issue, though, kicks off with the U-Men picking up everyone on this. What do they call themselves? They call themselves Children of the Atom.
Yep.
Children of the Atom, except for little JJ.
Yeah.
He is Daycrawler, aka Nighty Nightcrawler,
which is amazing.
Do you like that their names are so cheesy compared to the real X-Men?
I actually do, especially Cherub. I love that.
Yes, yeah, that's funny.
The description they give about the gear is hilarious with the harp. Like, that's genius.
Where did they
I don't
get
know.
this shit? Anyway, so we have the entire issue running through Benny or JJ's head. About his brotherhood to his stepbrother, who he feels they're slipping away from each other. And he doesn't really understand why, which I think is a unique gimmick on how to make your way through the story. I think that was fun. But right at the beginning, he can't figure out who he's thinking. Should he call the Avengers? Should he call the Champions? And then it hits him that, oh yeah, call the X-Men. So the actual X-Men get involved. I'm on, like, I don't know, 4th page in.
Yeah.
Where we have the data page. Do you like these in the X-Men series?
So it's something that I've grown to like a little bit. I did say one thing I caught was how the Children of the Atom acronym COTA drives me freaking nuts. Like, I was like, what? Oh yeah. Like, it just threw me off. I was like, where'd that come from? So
Kata. Yeah.
So things like that kind of irk me a little bit, but ultimately I like it. It's fun.
That's awesome. I like these data pages in the fact that they tell us who's going to be in the issue. Yeah. And just like you said, Cherub's going to be here. We have Marvel Guy, who is Benny. Marvel Guy is obviously a play off of Marvel Girl. Benny is kind of like the strong one of the group, Cyclops last. Now, this is just this, like, obvious. They couldn't think of any version, so they just threw on last. Cyclops Girl would have been better, maybe. She is kind of the de facto
Mm-hmm.
leader of the group, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Gimmick turns out to actually be a mutant. She seems to display the similar powers as
Yep.
Gambit as we go through this story. And then we have Daycrawler, aka he recently wanted to change it to Nighty Nightcrawler. The next page, the next page is another infographic page, but this is kind of nice though because it's going to give us everyone in the group a little bit of backstory on their
Yeah.
equipment. So that was cool because we haven't been able to see how they're doing
Yep.
what they're doing. If they're not mutants, how are they doing this? And so this was nice, but I wish I would have seen it more in a story form. What did you think, John? I'm kind of rambling.
Completely agreed with that. I was thankful for the information because I've had that exact same question of, well, how are we flying around and how are we doing this? And I think that the descriptions of the gear were actually done really well. Like it was very interesting. It wasn't the fact that, oh, this is demolition tech, but instead
Right.
they flourished on it and gave it more of a purpose. And there was a little bit of that world building vibe of how you can take something and adapt it to your desired effects.
Yep.
And so I really appreciated that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then we finally get back into the story where the X-Men are now involved. Cyclops really right off the bat says we need to secure the kids, and the kids are kind of fighting back. They want to be part of the melee.
Yep.
JJ doesn't understand that this is dangerous. Now these U-men, they aren't going to give up without a fight. They've fought before. They fought the X-Men before, but I don't really know much about them before. I had to look them up. I had to Wikipedia them.
Yeah.
Just for but it is cool because as we go into the next page, little Nighty Nightcrawler seems to be helping out the most with getting his fellow teammates
Mm-hmm.
free of the U-Men, while the X-Men fight the U-Men. And then got this really cool spread coming up here of Wolverine and Jean Grey together. What are your thoughts on her using her old costume like that with the
It's
mask
refreshing,
that's splayed out? Like,
so when we take it back to my love, which is the X-Men 90s cartoon, and the X-Men are fighting the Shi'ar Imperial Guard,
yeah,
and she is rocking those threads. She is
yeah,
not playing around. That's what that makes me think of every time I see it. So just because the costume is simplistic, she is just full. She is a stick of dynamite.
yeah.
She is going to dominate and save the world and rock it. And I love that
Oh
about
yeah.
that costume. I always have.
And I like it about her that she is much more of a take charge. She doesn't seem to have that vulnerability she used to have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? She seems to be hard as stone, and so her and Cyclops and Wolverine blast through the human, try to resurrect the kids, but the human have these vests on that have this, I guess I would call it, that is dampening their powers for one, and then secondly, hurting their senses. And so it's actually up to the children of the atom to save the day here, which I think is really funny, because they don't really have any powers, but yet they've used this tech and they've practiced so much together that they are like a legit team of X-Men.
The other thing that I was gonna say is that I was really giddy, and this is kind of a downer moment, but it's just the honest truth. I was so happy to see Maggot with the two slugs. This is late 90s, or mid to late 90s. He's part of the X-Men posse, and I feel like his part was so minimal, if not non-noticed at all. Like, why was he even there?
I didn't notice it. Where is he? Where?
Oh yeah, he's part of the group. He's the guy, the bigger guy, and he has the two worms on his shoulders. And he's like, his worms are named Eenie and Meanie, and they can digest through anything, including people. Like they just chew through things. And he didn't get to use them at all because they're trying non-lethal. And I was like, why is he even there? This is stupid.
Yeah, he's basically just there to say that they used him as a character.
Yeah. Filler.
Yep. So
that's my real beef. That's my beef.
That's your real beef with it.
Yeah.
So basically, by the end of the issue, the kids are told to go home. They're told to quit doing the vigilante thing.
Yeah.
Then Storm shows up at the door.
Yep.
Now, this was cool. The kids really freaked out when Storm showed up. And John, so she was there to what? Inform the one girl, Gimmick. I couldn't think of her name. Gimmick, that Storm knows she's a mutant because Cerebro did this, or found her, and that she's inviting her to the Hellfire Gala.
Yeah. You know what she did, though? Totally
what?
outed her. Totally outed her to her friends. Because this
Yeah,
conversation didn't happen yet. Storm's just like, cat's out of the bag.
Yep.
Yep.
Storm didn't even think twice about it.
Nope.
You're right. I saw the friends' faces and they're all like, what?
Yeah.
But it is kind of awesome because I must have read these out of order because I saw Gimmick at the Hellfire Gala already.
Yeah. Yeah. That too. I noticed that. I was like, well, where's the rest of the crew? Oh, they didn't go.
So yeah, pick up Children of the Atom. It was pretty awesome. You want to jump over to Hellions?
Yes, and also by the end of the episode, I'm going to challenge us to come up with a rating system. So on our show, we do out of 6 beers.
Yeah.
So we got to come up with something X-Men-y for a rating system. So let's brainstorm that while we're filming.
Maybe how many Sinister clones this episode was.
Ooh.
Sinister clones are fun because he makes a lot of them.
Yes, he does. That's a good segue.
Speaking of, do you have the Sinister cover? Yep. Okay, so we've got Hellions number 13. This, I don't know, is this ending? Or John, do you know?
It feels like it might be coming to a close soon, but
yeah,
I gotta say, I'm loving it. I am here for this book.
Yeah, I know there's some bitterness of certain people on the team that they don't want to be on the team. I think makes it really funny. But this book picks up with in Arizona. Okay, and I have to say, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know who this doctor is.
So this scene here, I can't say that I know the doctor either, but I do remember the smileys that they went up against that they're talking about here, as well as the crazy people that appear on the 4th page or 3rd page. So those I do remember, as well as transitioning into the little one that Nanny is caring for. So it's nice to see them circle back to that and say, okay, this actually matters now, even though it happened a couple issues ago. The doctor himself, not so much.
So if we just do a little recap, the Hellions were sent to Arakko to basically cheat at the Ten of Swords competition.
Yes.
And it didn't go well. They all died. Some of them died on Arakko. Some of them died on our side.
Mm-hmm.
And they all kind of came back with abnormalities. And nobody knows anything except Sinister, and he's not talking.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So the Hellions themselves don't know that they died.
Right.
Which I didn't know that. Okay. So we have this little interlude of the doctor finding these smileys. And then it kind of jumps to this. Well, it does jump to Mars, I think. Aren't the Hellions on Mars?
The Hellions are on just Krakoa.
No, it says Krakoa. Yeah, Nanny's ship. And she has one of these little smiley babies, which is creepy. Nanny, let's get this out of the way. Nanny is so creepy.
Yeah.
God, she just gives me the willies. Anyway, so she's doing her nanny thing to this space boy thing, and then we cut scene over to Purgatory on Krakoa, and everyone's kind of moping, which I think is kind of funny. John Greycrow is kind of moping that I don't know, something about a previous battle that they had won. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Quanon, who, aka Psylocke, she's moping around. We don't know why she's ignoring John Greycrow. That's hard to say, John Greycrow.
John Greycrow. You know, I was thinking about this. So this character, all of them have been through the ringer, but you got to think about the past about 5 issues ago, maybe 4 or 5 issues ago, where he
Yeah.
got face to face with all of his dead teammates. And the Marauders weren't good people. They killed the
No.
Morlocks. They
Right.
were bad people. But he literally saw everybody,
Yeah.
including the gal that he cared about, like in a half alive state because of Madeline Pryor or whatever.
Yep.
And yeah, he's been a little whipped ever
Yeah.
since. Like it knocked him down a couple pegs, I think.
Yeah. So they're kind of just having a breather after the Hellfire Gala. They kind of caused a huge fight
That
while they
was
were
so
there.
great. Oh my
So
god.
so our viewers need to go back and check that out because it was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
But Nanny, she had gone to go get a toy, and she interrupts Peter. Peter is basically playing with the alien Smiley baby, and Nanny freaks out. So this is such a weird relationship. She shames him, and he's bawling about it that he can't go to her special room anymore.
So,
Uh,
are you familiar at all with the Peter character? I don't know that I've encountered him too terribly much in my past readings.
no,
Um,
No, I do know. I guess no, I don't know much about him. I do kind of get that he's always been a mama's boy to
yeah,
Nana or Nana
maybe. Yeah.
to uh, Nanny there, and I totally get it that he's lost his place with her due to this
Yeah.
alien kid, or robot kid, whatever he is. But it's funny because John Greycrow and him are sitting sulking because John doesn't know why Quanon doesn't want anything to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter sulking because Nanny doesn't want anything to do with him. And they're going to bond over cleaning their guns.
It sounds like a good activity,
That's
though.
so awesome. Yeah, he's just like, want to clean guns? Yeah. uh, so then we get one of these infographic pages. I'm going to show our viewers. This one is full. I mean, it is like
It was a good read. It
full of
was a
text.
good read.
Yeah. So basically, what it says is a back, like, here's what's going on with Mr. Sinister. He doesn't listen to us.
Mm.
And we know there was something screwy going on with the Rocco,
Mm.
and we should figure out what it is. Prodigy's getting mad because nobody's doing crap about it. But then we jump over to our Sinister, where Sinister is getting ready to have an evening to himself. But he finds out his clone that he sent to Araco, or tricked to go to Araco, made it back. And he's sitting at his table waiting to eat with him.
Which I thought that was
This
a
was
wonderful moment. I was so happy to see them come together like this. I'm like so vengeful, and oh, that made me happy.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious because Sinister is one of my favorite villains because he is so prissy, yet he has messed up so much, right, in this whole universe. But I don't know. Do you like Mr. Sinister as a character?
You know, I am definitely living for this particular version in the Hickman run because he is sassy.
Yes.
I mean, there was a line a couple of issues ago where he was referring to his cape as musty. It's just so funny. Like he's so flamboyant. And then his dialogue with the Quiet Council is hilarious. Like it is second to none. And I just
exactly. This whole book is the comedic relief for the heaviness of the whole Hickman run. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so here we have this funny fight between the two of them, and the real one, the original one, he hit the panic button, which alerted the rest of Hellions to come to aid. So they all come running from their various activities to find that not only did someone make it back, but they also find out that they were killed in Iraq when they went to, what was the capital? Ament, I think.
Yeah, I think so. The whole map thing. I was looking over that the other day. I pulled out the issues that had the maps in them, and I'm just like, there's a lot going on there.
There is a lot going on. So what we find out, though, is that the clone didn't come back from Morocco because he escaped. He was sent back by the guy that did the scarring to his face. which we didn't really talk about. He looks like Herman Munster.
Yes. Sinister meets Frankenstein, man, for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So he didn't escape. He got sent there by his master, sent to prepare the way for Tarn. Apparently, Tarn is a heavy duty mutant over on the other side.
Mm.
And along with Tarn came Tarn's children, the Locust Vile. And then these things are weird. They have featureless masks
Mm-hmm.
on, which I think are a little it's pretty unsettling. And then they want one of the Hellions, and he says he ate his hands and choked on them. They were small, bitter things, and he goes, sorry. That was my favorite line. Anyway, so there's this standoff. It's going to be a rematch between these Araco mutants and Hellions. I don't think the Hellions are going to win.
They sure did not last time, that's for sure. And that's why I'm kind of ragging on Peter a little bit. Like, what
Right.
exactly does he do, or what does he hope to accomplish? Because he doesn't seem very effective
Right.
sometimes.
I don't
And
think any
Nanny.
of the Hellions do right now. I mean, this team or group that was put together to be the Hellions were put together. I mean, Havoc was put on the team basically to keep an eye on them, right?
Yeah.
Orphan Maker, that's Peter's mutant name.
Yep.
And Havoc is just sulking the whole time, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he was put on this team and he thought he should be an X-Men, which is great. This is new to me that, and I guess it's new to everyone, this idea of an X-Men election.
Isn't it?
What do
Isn't it
you think
weird?
about
I
it?
loved the mechanic of it. My vote went to somebody else. I voted for Tempest because I've watched Hickman take a C-list villain and make them amazing. And so I thought we could maybe do that again. But
Yes.
instead, let's cancel X Factor, which is amazing, pull Polaris from it, and put her in the X-Men. And I'm like, okay, that's a horrible idea, but
it's weird. I agree. I was mad when I heard X Factor was done. I've been enjoying that a lot. So the next up in our list was X Force number 21. This man thing looking creature is the source of what's going on here. And in the last issue, we found out that Beast had kind of date raped or put the date rape drug into the Terra Verde people.
How dark was that? For real?
That was creepy. It really made me lose a lot of respect for Beast. I mean, I know he's always been on the fringe and always had the do it for the greater good kind of thing, but this was below the belt.
Yeah. And they have every right to be pissed. It reminds me a lot of Dark Beast from Age of Apocalypse and those tendencies. So yeah, that was a real dark turn for the character. So
and he doesn't care. He doesn't give a crap. He thinks that because in the end it's going to mean that it's best for mutants, that it justifies the means, but so this one this issue opens up months ago before the Terra Verde stuff. And Sage, the chick that communicates with the island, she's got a cool job, I think. I mean, I never really knew her as a character before, and I don't really know where she came from, but I've been really enjoying like how she basically talks and does things for Krakoa on Krakoa's behalf.
Yeah. She's doing, and she seems to be the voice of reason, which I didn't think I would say. Thinking of like a Beast on the team, but yeah,
she's fun. But something happened at the coast of Washington. There was a factory that exploded, and this green gel stuff leaked into the ocean. And Sage said that something that may stick in Krakoa, what's 500 miles away today, could be on our doorstep tomorrow. So they got to take care of it. And this stuff mutated the whales, the sharks, as it moved across the ocean. It was really kind of creepy. I like this team that they put together to go cleanse and contain the area. Domino, Forge, Wolverine, and Kid Omega.
that Kid Omega, man, like later in the issue, and I'm just gonna call it
Yeah,
out now. I like that new outfit. I think it's sharp.
yeah, it's fun. I like
Yeah,
his hair. I mean, if I have hair envy, and he's just such a cocky little
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
But I really like the way this artist draws Wolverine as well.
Mm,
Wolverine just looks beefy, and there
yeah.
are other artists that doesn't draw him as
I think
well.
that the one pick I really love
So
though
we,
is I love seeing
yeah,
Forge, man. Like just seeing Forge out and about, it makes me
yeah,
happy.
yeah. He's out of his workshop,
Yeah.
which is cool. Um, he doesn't go on a lot of missions usually. He just makes his stuff. Um, so it jumps over to like a mile set nuclear factory, and then there is a little girl looking for seashells, and she finds a sand doll, and she is grabbed by uh, a man thing looking creature, shark. It's a crazy scene.
Yeah.
Did you, Johnny, there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Oh, couldn't hear you. I think you froze on me.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was like
Um,
a man thing situation.
yes.
And that was interesting.
Okay.
So,
It was fun, and then we get to see them cleaning up. They've got these like weapons that Forge made that
yeah.
basically cleans up the vegetation stuff. And Wolverine and Domino are spraying away, and Kid Omega is trying to figure out who they are. He's supposedly the smartest man alive, but
I
his alarm system's going off, and there's a shipping boat out there. And go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I one thing I really liked was the call out to utilizing Storm, using a rain system seeded with some of Forge's
Yes,
little purging creations, and I love little nods like that where we don't have to see the character, but we can feel the impact. And that's one thing that Krakoa has always been good
exactly.
at is so and so is doing something off in the background.
Yep, exactly. I love it. I love it when he asks Kid Omega, "Do you know what a fastball special is? You ever heard of a fastball special?" And instead
Yes.
of because so Colossus usually does it because he's big, and what it does is it's involved is you throw the other guy like a fastball,
Mm,
and towards the danger. Well, Kid Omega is little; he is
mm,
tiny,
mm.
and there's no way he could throw Wolverine. So he constructs a catapult, which is
Yep.
awesome. I thought that was a really cool idea.
Yeah. And it's just so funny, like just typical Quentin. Typical.
Yep, yep. And Wolverine lands on the man thing with his claws out
Mm,
and basically gets spit up on, and it's all this green goo that ends up, yeah, it's gross. And um, they turn around to see that the mutant shark and squid or whatever ate the fishing boat.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So this is all taking place during the Hellfire Gala. No, before the Hellfire Gala, because
Mm-hmm.
now we're going to jump to current time where we find out that Beast had um, planted seeds and that grew in the Terra Verde people. Is that right? Is that what he did?
Yep, basically just kind of implanted everybody with little buds that he could spy on them and control them, and
Yeah,
it's
and then
so
so
dark.
what came out was that at the Hellfire Gala, he made them say, "Yes, we support Krakoa," and it seems so out of character that
Mm,
basically it came out that Beast was being incredibly creepy with, like I said, putting Rohypnol basically in these people's drinking
yep,
water, um,
yep.
and so now though because of that, it looks like what Beast did they were also doing on their own. They seem to have developed the same technology. And because of that, we have another man thing with a little bit different DNA.
Mm-hmm.
This now this side story that jumps to Walter Whitmore and Zurich, where he wakes up next to a dead body.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah. Same thing. It really did jump. It sounds like someone is basically wanting other nations to not do business with Krakoa, so they're gonna
Yep.
basically blackmail him. But I completely agree. I don't know who did what, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What's going on here?" So it
Yeah.
kind
So
of lost me a
basic
little bit.
but then I got back. He got a call that said this video will leak of you murdering this guy or you being in bed with a murdered guy,
Hmm.
or you stop business with all of Xavier's businesses now.
Hmm.
And so then um, there's a famous lawmaker that it jumps to next that she shoots a guy that one of her rivals, and when she's knocked down by the cops, out comes that goo that we saw from those mutants that were in the ocean some months
Hmm.
ago. All right, I assume months ago. I guess we don't know how long ago.
Hmm. Yeah. This third
Um,
one is what really got me though, just seeing the
I'm
police
at the
officer. Um, that blew my
yeah.
mind. What were you gonna say?
I know. Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, that police officer at the New York
Hmm.
gate, right? So they're at the gate in New York, and Kid Omega is trying to go through, and the police officer has been infected with that. I call it vegetation. I don't really know what it is, uh, but we cut back to Beast, and he's trying to understand the new man thing, uh, and he's happy with Sage's um, her work so far. And then we get to another data page. Now these sometimes are a lot of fun, and sometimes they
Yeah.
drive me nuts. This one is I don't know. It was a little irritating to figure out what was going on, but basically she's talking about what they did from beginning to end with this man thing plan. Um, I I don't know what she's going to do with it. But luckily they have Domino so that they can use Domino to go find the basically where he's at currently so that they can
Yep.
stop him or study him. I don't what do you think? What's the goal here?
So I think that they were just really, gathering that data, first of all. And I like things like this. I think that this is kind of that Storm reference that I was talking about earlier, where
Yep.
we could literally depict vaguely another major character in the MCU, that would just blow the right fan's mind in a
Yeah.
section like this. They did not in this,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So I felt it was a
Yep.
missed opportunity. I was kind of looking for it. Um,
I know. I
but
agree. I agree. So then we were in the woods where the man thing is at, and he's being led into a trap. Kid Omega has disguised himself as a kid in the woods. Mommy, Daddy, it hurts. The gnashing of their terrible teeth. Anyway, so he got Man Thing to come running to save this innocent kid, and it was their way of tricking him. Well, instantly, Man Thing chucked this blob of something right into Quentin's face, which I thought was pretty funny. Quentin's kind of a jerk, you know.
it's totally his MO, and I love him for it.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, luckily the or the dynamite thing that the man thing had landed near Domino. I mean, with her good luck, she was able to get away. And but it's funny, he escapes them and doesn't want to go back with them.
Hmm.
We find out that he is actually from the Weapon Plus program, which we know is Wolverine, Deadpool, all that kind of stuff. Um, I don't know. What did you think about finding out that he was part of the Plus program?
I think Weapon Plus is a very silly name, because
Yeah,
you're just taking the X Weapon X and turning it a little, turn that shower
yep,
faucet a little. Oh, Weapons Plus. Um,
yep. Because
we'll see
it's
how it goes, man. I
they make
mean,
because they make weapons plus
right. And honestly,
other
I look at
things.
these test tubes and I'm seeing Groot and Rocket Raccoon. Like I don't know. I'm just kind of
Yep.
over the crazy plant thing. But I am curious about this
Yes.
Xeno that is depicted on that last panel
Yeah.
there, and maybe it'll be a cool villain.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that cause is, and I don't actually know who this character is on
Very last
the
panel.
last panel that on the that page.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I don't know who that is. So we got another lab report that basically shows how many different species there could be out there, and then relating it to how many different species of man thing that could be out there, which
Yeah.
is crazy. So I bet we're going to see more man thing.
Yep.
I like this issue because it shows that Beast is not a great dude. And I used to be
Yeah.
such a fan
So
of
dark.
Beast from the 90s. Okay, so the main event for the night, the X-Men have recruited a new team for saving the world. I didn't know that they were like a superhero team. I mean, that's kind of why I liked them better than the Avengers. So right off the bat, I was a little bit annoyed. I'm like, what do we need? Like, what do we need like designations for the
Mm-hmm.
X-Men to be the hero group?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that they were always out there to save mutants, right? And now they're out there to save the world like the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what do you think of Wolverine's female clone being on the team instead of him?
I'm okay with it. I think that, remember, we've gone through many a period where normal Wolverine is in 20 different issues at once. And so I'm okay with it. I'm
Yeah,
at peace with it. I think that it'll be a cool new dynamic. I hope that she continues to bring, a little bit fresh chemistry to the group, and I'm sure she will. But yeah, I think it's a good break.
I hope it's good. Do you think they're going to drop off all the series now that they've started one more like new X-Men series?
Uh, I hope not. I hope not.
I hope they drop
I
some
like,
for my budget, but
yeah. But there's some that I
yeah,
still like more than what this is.
that's true.
um,
I agree. I agree.
yeah.
This was not my favorite issue. I was disappointed.
Mm,
So a little backstory: during the Hellfire Gala, the mutants terraformed Mars into being an inhabitable planet that
mm,
they have claimed for their own, starting with the Araco mutants who have come back from Araco. And
mm,
they get to first choice on Mars, but it looks like it's going to be a home for all mutants if they want it.
mhm, mhm,
So that's the start now, and we find out that this billionaire guy wanted to be the first one to own Mars.
mm.
So he's a little bit upset.
Yeah.
Have we ever seen him before, John? I don't think I
I
know
do
him.
not know him at all. And so that was my first turnoff for the issue was, this is the best we got? I don't know.
Yep,
Um,
yep, yep. Me too. Me too. It's like, oh, come on, give us a good villain. I mean, they've got stories built up that I'm waiting for. Like, I really want to know what Sinister's been up to. I don't just want to know the goofy stuff with the
yeah,
Hellions. I mean, he's had something in the works for a
yeah,
while. Um, or I want more Moira McTaggart
yeah.
story, you know. But this seemed to just jump into a brand new thing with a brand new bad guy that wanted to live on Mars, and the mutants beat him to it. Seems kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the New Mutant team, I have it in front of me now, that uh, are going to be the X-Men. This was the first election that the X-Men were, where you got to decide one of the X-Men, which was kind of cool. So Cyclops, Jean Grey, Sunfire, Sync, Wolverine. Now it's the Wolverine clone. Polaris and Rogue. Now Polaris was the one announced at the the Hellfire Gala
Yeah. Yep.
as the new X-Men. Was that a
I
big
I'm
deal to you? Did you care that it was Polaris?
I didn't care. So yeah, I my vote was another character entirely. I'm happy for her.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see her succeed, and I'm glad to see Havoc not succeed. It's kind of funny to me because
yeah,
in the old X Factor days, they were like the power couple or
they
whatever.
were. Yeah,
And now she's out just crushing it. And I will say, as we go through this issue,
and
she had a cool couple of power moments.
yeah, she did.
Uh, Making her presence felt. So I was all about that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll get there on what she did, but in a way it's cool, but it's also what I don't like about the story too.
yeah.
Um, but so it starts off and we're in New York City. Now the X-Men have decided that Krakoa and Mars aren't enough, that they need the X-Men need to have an office in New York, so they grow this giant tree house. I'm sorry, but this is dumb, John. This is really dumb. Cyclops just keeps repeating that he's always wanted a treehouse since he was a boy, and so that's what he had Krakoa do for him.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? This is anyway. So the Spider-Man, the Spider-Man character Ben Urich, he is a journalist who has written books and things like that. And he's doing an article and he's interviewing Cyclops, and Cyclops is giving his reasons why their presence in New York needs to be a treehouse.
I think this moment,
and
this moment really spoke to me though when Cyclops is kind of skedaddling towards the gate and dodging his questions, and it makes me circle back to how shady the whole House of X and Powers of X, how this all started with Krakoa. Like, boom, something changed, something happened. We're all on an island together getting along.
Right.
Cyclops, Wolverine, and Jean Grey are a throuple in some of the issues. I mean, things are crazy. And so it just makes me think that there's something bigger at play, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So basically they're getting out of there because Cyclops doesn't want to have to answer questions. And he even says, so he comes through the gate. He's at home on the moon, I think, right? The Summers live on the moon, and he gives Jean a kiss. And then we see Sync and oh God, what's his name? Mustache.
He must be in the treehouse.
Forge. Yeah.
They must be in the treehouse.
You're right. Yep, you're right. You're right. Yep. So here's my question. Forge is building all this stuff, and in walks Lorna Dane, coming home to the treehouse. Her first time. She's like, "Hello, anybody around to help with luggage?" Which I thought was kind of funny. Kind of funny because she's moving in. She is Magneto's legitimate daughter. Right? Is that correct? She's got metal powers, right?
Yep.
Okay, so she's getting the tour of the place, and then Rogue is already on scene of their first calamity that they've got to go save the day. See, already this is an Avengers story. So here comes a alien coming into our atmosphere, and Rogue is on it, right? And she gets there, and it is this big, again, in my opinion, Avengers looking, badass.
I agree. So, it's kind of something that we just watched Independence Day last night, and so it just made me think of the aliens mixed with the ship, and I'm just like, oh heavens, man. Which, by the way, Tyler, really quick, I have been severely neglecting some of the comments that we've been getting. So a couple of viewers here from YouTube just checking in with us. Comic Crack says, good evening to you, sir. Sleepy Reader says, hey guys, and I say, howdy back to you, Sleepy Reader. Tyler, Sleepy Reader is out from the West Coast and is a longtime friend of Comic Book Look, and so thanks for tuning in, man.
Awesome. We're having a good time tonight with this new venture. I hope all of our viewers, does it show you how many viewers we have? Because I don't have any of that on my side.
Nope. Yep. So on my side we have 2 right now, which is awesome. Okay. And it goes it just bobs in and out like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this baddie I call him from Avengers, he looks like a spacecraft that also has organic tendrils coming out of him, going into the ground, and then from there he sends this shockwave that sends Rogue through 4 skyscrapers, which is crazy. Sorry, I just dropped my comics.
No, you're good.
It's one of those days.
Just throw them on the ground.
I know. You have no idea how picky I am about my comic books. Yeah. So luckily, in comes the new X-Men team to the rescue. How are they there already, first of all? I don't even know that.
Yep.
They got there quick. So tell me, what is Sync's power? I don't know this character.
Yep. So he has that rainbow aura kind of branching out, and he's able to take on the ability of a mutant around him. So in the panel where it's Marvel
Is it
Girl, him,
is it this
yep,
one?
that one. He appears to maybe be rocking some metal powers because he's on like a sewer lid or something.
Yep,
If
he's
I'm
back
seeing that
here.
right.
He's back
Yep.
here. Yep.
Yep.
He he's
Um,
on he's on something, right? Like a
yeah.
disc shaped like Captain's shield. But I guess I've never seen him before, so I was surprised he was on the team. And then I really like the fact that they went with Polaris because she's been an unused character. Marvel, or I mean, the Scarlet Witch blew up, right? I can see them trying to do that with Lorna Dane right
Yeah.
now, which I think is
Yeah.
cool. We could get some cool Havoc and Magneto and Polaris stories for Disney Plus. I think that would be a cool idea.
Yes. And the other thing I just remembered too was if because you've been reading the X-Men before the reboot,
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
Sync and female Wolverine were the ones that were in that weird time capsule place where all these mutants were hunting them, and they got like
Yep.
kind of a romance thing going on. So I think that's why they're both on the team, is they want to continue that.
Are you talking about the Vault? Were they children of the
Yeah,
Vault?
yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I
yep,
forgot that.
yep.
Okay.
So
Got
I
it.
just thought of that right
Okay.
now when I was
So
looking at that. So that makes sense.
the X-Men basically come together, and Polaris uses all the metal around them, and basically they all use their powers to create a like stupid being, or not, like a metal, like, what do you call it, John?
You
I
know
mean, it
what
ripped off so many different. Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to call it a Megazord from Power Rangers. That's how I
Thank you.
feel. That's how
Thank
I
you.
feel.
Yep.
And it's
I was
dumb.
gonna say it
It's
ripped
dumb.
off so many different IP that I just feel like this was crazy. Like, Jerry Duggan was awesome on Marauders. Yes, look at that. Look at that stupid thing. It even looks dumb. They couldn't
Yeah.
even draw it good.
Yeah.
Um, Here's the thing, and I think you agree with me. Jerry Duggan was awesome on Marauders, don't you think?
Yeah.
What is this story? This story is shit. So anyway, now the X-Men have a vehicle or some sorts. I guess a vehicle slash robot that they can get around in, because it looks like they made it like permanent.
Yeah.
Um, yep. And then basically they all have a job to do in this Megazord, and then they defeat the thing that came to Earth, or so we think.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um
and so and so I know I'm jumping ahead a few pages, but there really is nothing good to say about the battle.
no.
I mean, it was. I mean,
um
it was.
the one thing I was gonna lift up though was X-Men are going for this polished heroic image.
Yep.
And oh yes, we're gonna steal like thousands of tons of steel and some of your cars and construction equipment and not give it back because it's going to become a permanent lighthouse
I
and you're
know.
all going to
I
be
know.
okay with
I know. And then putting it on Krakoa, I'm like, stealing from Batman a little bit. It's going to be their beacon, right? And that now, so yes, basically, it's on Krakoa as their Statue of
yeah,
Liberty. But I don't know why it's ugly as hell.
yeah,
At least Lady Liberty had something going on underneath those gowns, right?
yeah.
But so anyway, at the bottom panel of the page I'm looking at, I'm gonna put it on my screen here. Is
I hate
the
that.
X the Yeah, it's the X-Men, very 60s, like we're the new heroes look, right? It's got the vibe of the Incredibles.
I did not
And
care for it, and I was going to lift this up to, yeah, I was going to lift it up the art and everything. It just I'm we're so spoiled with what we were getting under
I
Hickman.
know, I know. I cannot believe this is what we got. I feel
Yeah,
icky.
yeah,
But okay, now we make a huge jump, and this story wasn't even necessary, in my opinion.
yeah.
We jump to Game World, where the worst people in the universe come to have the best time, which, in my opinion, is a lot like, right, with
Mojo.
Star Wars, yeah, or Mojo World, right?
Yeah,
Mojo World, same thing. And then basically, we're seeing all this gambling going on, and bets can be made telepathically, and basically, out comes the man of the hour, the host, Cordyceps Jones. I guess I don't know the significance of this thing, because it stops. I know we're going to get something back later. I know it's gonna pay off later, but didn't it feel so stupid, so ham-fisted?
So very underwhelming, I think is the right word. um,
There was nothing like for
yeah,
us in it. But anyway, we get an info page of Ben Urich from the Daily
I like
Bugle
this.
talking about how the Cyclops thing, which
Yeah.
is really cool. Basically talking about what um, happened between him and Scott, and kind of, the heroes of Krakoa are the X-Men, right? And talking about how this treehouse isn't threatening. We shouldn't be worried about it. And I don't know. I think the X-Men have a lot of balls to put it in Manhattan.
I would agree. It's like we're gonna go ahead and just put this thing here and shake it up. But I did like the call out for how it's improving the environment. That was cool. That was cool.
Yeah. Why do they need a
Yeah.
location? They have gates. They can come from Krakoa. They have their own island and now
Yeah.
their own planet. They can come and go. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why they need to have a location where of
Yeah.
men. Now they've got their own place. Place says. Why do they think they get both? That kind of irks me a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, then we jump to this C story, which is a underground. So there, literally, this is the third storyline, right, John?
Yeah.
Okay, so underground in an evil part of New Jersey. That's
Literally.
literally what was written deep in the ground in a particularly evil part of New
I don't know if
Jersey.
that's gonna come through, but yeah.
Yeah. So we are in the Oblivion Institute, Dr. Stasis presiding. Who the hell is Dr. Stasis?
Yes.
I don't know. I feel so like bummed that like missed opportunities here to like bring back like someone awesome, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we don't. So we watched the birth of this like humanoid thing with legs on its back. So essentially, it's got 8 digits. It's an arachnid kind of thing, and he's being observed by scientists that then turn on radiation at it to see if it will survive,
Hmm.
and which it does not. And then they say, well, that's another one. Who do you think that is in the thing? You think that's Doctor Doom?
No, I was wondering if it was the billionaire from the beginning.
Oh, probably. That makes sense.
Maybe?
Uh,
I
yeah,
don't
that
know.
makes sense. Because they're trying to figure out why mutants keep coming back. I mean, and that's one of the things Ben Urich wrote about was how do they resurrect their dead? Because he knows for a fact someone died, and Cyclops was eluding that 100%. Which is true because I mean, in our laws, that would be completely illegal,
Yeah.
to bring someone back to life on paper.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think I want to say uh, I think out of 10
Mr.
capes
Sinister Cloak.
of Mr. Sinister capes or cloaks or whatever you want to call them, I give it a 2, maybe a 3.
Just because it's a number one and because I want as many cloaks as I can get or
Yeah,
capes, I'm gonna give it one. One Mr. Sinister
yeah,
cape.
that's
Um,
funny.
we
Yeah, I get.
we got let
I'm like
down
two and a
though. We
half.
got let down this week, I think, for that. The other books were fantastic.
The other books delivered. Those are like still going strong. I love Children of the Atom because of its whimsicalness of like it brings us back to when the X-Men were young,
Yeah.
I love the Hellions because it shows that not all mutants have what it takes to be heroes, and some of them are just screw ups,
Yep. Yep.
and then I think all the stories have their place, and I do want some of them to end in the fact that I wish there weren't 6 titles or however many there are,
Yep.
um, but I am looking forward to what happens going forward. I know that Cable's ending next month, which stinks.
I
So
enjoyed that one. I thought it was fun.
yeah.
But
So, hey, going forward, those that watched this video, please leave in the comments, like the video, let us know what you think of this show, whether you want to see more of this, because I could talk X-Men every week, man.
yes. And that's what we
Uh,
that's what we're hoping to do. There's definitely enough books coming out right now where we can have a healthy combo.
oh, definitely. Because tonight we talk. How long? Do you got a timer going?
Oh gosh, we've been going almost an hour. So
Nice. The days of our future past lives.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, John, it's been fun, man. Thanks for hosting this. I have no idea how you do this.
A click of a couple of buttons, and here we go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, anyway, I'll have to post it on my feeds as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you to everybody that tuned in tonight. So, again, I am John from A Comic Book Look, proudly sponsored by Rainbow Comics. And we got Sir Tyler here from Smash and Grab, also sponsored by Rainbow Comics. And you guys get a bonus opportunity to capture some time with Tyler every Wednesday. They do the Rainbow Show, so definitely tune in, get familiar. Him and TR just rock it and have fun talking all the new books that come out and all the merch. So
Yeah.
definitely get connected, you guys.
Thanks, John. And we are going to come on your show. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Should we do a comic? Yeah, TR and I coming on A Comic Book Look. Can you imagine the amount of hilarity
that will ensue?
Oh God, it's almost too much.
And I still want to do an X-Men episode with you guys because I will probably cry on the episode.
Yeah, we got to do another one. X-Men the animated series. Yeah, man, we did that because we ran out of material one night, and I literally couldn't. JP couldn't finish his books or something, and TR. It started because I had hip surgery. That's what it was. So I was really homebound. So yeah, we watched an episode of that, and then we just basically did a really poor review of it, and it was funny. So
it's great, man. It's great.
Anyway, so man, it's been good. Should we say goodnight?
We are going to say goodnight to our viewers here. Thank you guys again for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week on our variety and myriad of shows. If you are watching this on YouTube, connect with us on Facebook through Rainbow Comics, Cards and Collectibles, or Comic Book Look. We have our own group, or Smash and Grab Comics. They have their own group. Definitely get familiar. A lot of cool people in the community here, and you're talking to two of the best. So
yes.